All right, welcome to Smokey Approved Korea. I'm your boy Jurnalist, and on this one, we are back for some more Board City Magazine. This one is going to be the problem with the masterminds behind BTS. I don't know what those problems might be. You know, I'm quite new to this purple gang and all that. Throw a 7 in the chat for me, or excuse me, the comments. I don't know why I said chat, but yeah, I seen this one. You know, I like a little bit of a mess, so I said I'd check this out. But I'm so busy that I'm booked. Like, I've got a show 4 hours from now. I've got a show tomorrow, which is probably, what's month is this? It's October, September. Yeah, so this is like the second biggest show of the year for me, and it's tomorrow. And I still kind of don't know some of the song I have to perform, so I'm trying to get this video done so you guys have something in the interim. But also, I need to make the announcement that I've made a community post, and I have a song with a very famous UK rapper coming out. And I don't know if you've ever supported my music. You might not even care. Skip this part if you don't care. But if you are willing to help me out and help me push this song, please go to the community post on my page and then just pre-save the record for me. And then when it comes out, please listen to it and share it to as many people as possible. If you actually like the music once you hear it, don't support it if it's whack and you don't like it. Please don't do that. But if you do like it when it comes out, and then also if you could pre-save it beforehand, that would be such a massive help. Because if we get this song to do well, the artist has already agreed to do a music video, but he wants to see traction. And I'm not the best with putting out music, because I just put it out and just hope people enjoy it, and that's kind of where it begins and stops with me. But I need this one to do well, because if it does, he said he'll do the music video, and he'll be more willing to help push it. And for my music career, especially here in the UK, if this song goes well, like, I might actually like be set up like and win, and that'd be ridiculous. And it's really thanks to you guys, videos like this, and being able to like actually speak to you guys. So I wanted to say that to let you know kind of what I have going on. If you'd like to see anything in more detail, watch the vlogs I put on the channel. If you want to watch the unedited or like kind of edited versions of the vlog, please sign up for the Patreon. And yeah, that's all my announcements. Sorry for taking up all this extra time, but yeah, let's get into the video.
Since BTS rose to global fame in 2017, music industry experts have not only studied BTS as a successful musical act, but documentaries, news articles, reports, and studies always cite Ban Si-hyuk and a certain group of producers as the masterminds behind BTS. If there is a new musical project that this group of producers is creating, it's always titled From the Minds of BTS.
The people that created BTS have this vision.
I think I know her point already. I've watched Spore enough. BTS is BTS because of BTS. Did Bang and all the men help? Sure. But BTS is BTS because of the 7 members. You can't be the mind of BTS because the mind of BTS is from the 7 boys. And if it's not them, it's not truly from BTS. That's just my quick take, especially knowing how snarky she can get, which I do love, but I feel like that's where we're going.
This is especially true when it comes to Ban Si-hyuk, the founder of BTS's label Big Hit.
Ban Si-hyuk, the mastermind behind K-pop superstars
okay, that's how you say
BTS.
Pang.
He was labeled by Times, Forbes, and Variety as the mastermind behind BTS. At first, I didn't overthink this idea. Ban Si-hyuk and other names close to BTS, such as producer P-Dog and choreographer Son Sun-duk, discovered, trained, and put the BTS members together in a group. It makes sense. They are the masterminds. However, the more I see them create, produce, and train other groups, the more I doubt them. And before I talk about what I mean, I want to clarify that this video specifically is not a video essay. I don't have a strong conclusion. I have different ideas and opinions related to the supposed masterminds behind BTS, and I want to share them so we can start a conversation.
My overarching idea or thought on any of this is, especially from doing the stuff I've done in the business, what Ban Si-hyuk is, I believe how you say that, I don't know, P-Dog, and I don't know the choreographer's name, I can't mind it, but any of them just had the faith to believe that the people that they're working alongside with would turn into who they're going to turn into. But that's where, for me personally, it begins and ends, because whatever an artist is going to have or whatever, it come from them. There's nothing more or less you could do. Like, I don't care how much musical background and training, let's say Prince had, that shit come from Prince. I don't care how much training or whatever fucking Freddie Mercury had, that's Freddie Mercury. Like, Could you have helped distill that a little bit better? Sure. But Freddie's going to be motherfucking Freddie. Either you're going to help push that and turn that into greatness, or somebody else is, because them motherfuckers are going to come. There's nothing you can do, just like these 7 boys. Nothing you could do. Thankfully, they're all on the same team, so that's cool. But, like, they was going to do whatever they was going to do regardless, I feel.
I want to start by analyzing the creative ideas by this group of producers before they hit the jackpot with BTS. Ban Shi-hyuk started as a composer and songwriter for JYP Entertainment. He wrote some successful songs for G.O.D., Rain, and Wonder Girls in the 90s.
Is that him trying to be like a solo artist or like a part of a group? That's so cute. He kind of still has the same haircut.
And Wonder Girls in the 90s. This is where Bang's nickname Hitman Bang comes from.
Hey yo, Hitman Bang introduces. Hey yo, Hitman Bang. Hey yo, Hitman Bang introduces. Hey yo, Hitman Bang introduces.
In 2005, Ban Shi-hyuk decides to leave JYP and create his own label, Big Hit Entertainment. Big Hit trains some prospective artists and manages the music career for a JYP singer. But financial problems made the label nearly go bankrupt in 2007. Ban Shi-hyuk's salvation was collaborating with other labels. So the first thing he does is sign Lee-hyun and Lee Chang-min, 2 of his trainees. Lee-hyun becomes part of the group 8, with members from Source Music, and Lee Chang-min becomes part of 2AM, with members of JYP. Because of his previous work with JYP, Ban Shi-hyuk also continues producing music for JYP singer Lim Jong-hee, and her music also becomes part of a collaborative contract between JYP and Big Hit. In 2010, Big Hit creates the girl group Glam in collaboration with Source Music and puts Lee-hyun and Lee Chang-min, the 2 artists who are fully signed to Big Hit, in a vocal duo titled Home. As you can see, all of the projects Big Hit had, with the exception of Home, were part of joint contracts with other labels. The projects with JYP had the money and recognition that comes from being part of a big 3 label, as well as the creative ideas of the ones we now call masterminds. However, although they were not failures, these projects were not outstanding, and as soon as their contracts finished, or even before, the singers left Big Hit completely. With still a limited budget, Big Hit discovers, trains, and puts the BTS members together in a group from 2010 to 2013. So by the time most of their joint contracts with JYP and Source Music end, Big Hit at least has BTS. Starting with the resources of an almost bankrupt company, BTS becomes a huge success, surpassing not only other acts from the K-pop industry. BTS becomes the biggest group in the world. So why this Big Hit creation and not their other groups? I'll start mentioning random theories because
I'm gonna hear theories because I think I know why.
Again, I don't have a strong conclusion. We can say that working with other labels didn't allow Big Hit to have full creative freedom, but Home had singers fully trained, signed, and controlled by Big Hit. So maybe it was the lack of resources. Big Hit was financially worse when they created 8, 2AM, and Glam than when they created BTS. However, 8, 2AM, and Glam had the financial support of other labels. Actually, the joint contracts were mostly the other labels as management and Big Hit as producers. Just like BTS, these groups are the creative ideas of Big Hit, but with a lot more resources. So the only answer I can get for now is that BTS was simply Big Hit's best idea. Now that they see what truly works, they are supposed to have a better understanding of the industry.
I feel like we're kind of saying the same thing with my point. My point would be that everything that I've learned in working in the music industry in Los Angeles has taught me that, especially working in Scotland, and why I feel like in just 2 years I've been able to gain so much, is because the money does help. But when you use the money to kind of lead the way with an artist, you forget about the music and the artistry and then like the person, because I can pay for you to get to X place. So all you need to do is just get to X place. But that doesn't make it fun for the fan or the listener, because we don't get to be on a journey with you. So when everybody shows up all polished and like you're just kind of doing the formula, yeah, that might work for some people, but like for the big artists, that's not how it worked for them. We've watched them come up from the trenches, and this is why I say that the BTS thing worked, is because not only do we see them come from the trenches, but we see them just being artists, being people. So when I see somebody that I just know as a person, or can view and humanize as a person, that's going to make me want to kind of like follow this and see what it's going to turn into. And that's what's kind of, I feel like, the raw foundation of what has laid the groundwork for BTS's success, because the talent and everything, I feel like, came after. Not that they didn't have the talent, but the talent is what we were able to pay attention to after we kind of fell in love with them as people or characters, or just seeing them as humans, not just another cog in the wheel of like K-pop or K-media or anything like that. They just were a bunch of quirky kids just trying to make it. And then that turned into, well, you know, them niggas got some good songs though, and they're like, they keep making good songs, and like, oh, they keep making moments, and it develops and builds. That's what I think was more so the thing than them actually having like, oh, I have a good idea, because it's not a good idea. It's you just bet on something, and betting on authenticity is probably the safest bet if you have the time to be able to bet on authenticity in the industry.
So Big Hit is successful because BTS is successful. Now it's time to expand. Ban Shi-hyuk transforms Big Hit Entertainment into Hybe Corporation and leaves BTS's management intact with the independent and unlisted label Big Hit Music, one of the many music labels part of Hybe. As a corporation with all the money, experience, and important international contacts Ban Shi-hyuk has thanks to BTS, Hybe buys and creates label after label. And it's not just BTS anymore. The masterminds behind BTS have many successful groups. That should be more than enough for them to earn the title. But there's something that my mind just cannot process. Most of these groups are successful in the K-pop industry, but the analysis of these big names like Times, Forbes, and Variety are not about the masterminds behind a successful K-pop group. There are a lot of those types of creators. No, the title is the masterminds behind BTS, aka the biggest group in the world. The question the media asks Ban Shi-hyuk, people who work with BTS, and even their choreographer is not about creating a K-pop group. It's about their expertise managing a group to worldwide success. And I don't think Ban Shi-hyuk or anyone from Hybe can answer that. They failed their previous groups. And now, with all the money and fame they have because of BTS, they are still making decisions that don't make sense to me. They keep showing a lack of understanding of the industry. They can't stop depending on BTS, even while they are on hiatus. Don't get me wrong, it looks like they're trying really hard, and some of their efforts are really effective in the K-pop space. I mean, with BTS's name attached, it's almost impossible to fail in this niche industry. It's when they try to move on to the next step, to live up to their title of masterminds, when they lose credibility for me. There is one clip specifically of Ban Shi-hyuk promising one of his groups an entry on the Billboard Hot 100, and not any entry, but a top 20.
What do you guess the rank of Billboard?
You tell me your guess.
I think at least inside 20 on Billboard Hot 100.
Yeah.
This prediction makes sense for someone who has an idea of the industry, but who can't completely get it. This K-pop group has a medium but loyal K-pop fanbase in the United States. This song was composed by an American producer known for making multiple Hot 100 Grammy-nominated hits. This song was a collaboration with the Jonas Brothers, a popular American name. It had a music video with a choreography and 4 remixes. But the song didn't enter the Billboard Hot 100 or even the bubbling under Hot 100, much less the Hot 100 Top 20. This makes it less surprising for me to see other Hybe groups having a sudden hope on the Billboard charts, when they are far from it or when their promotion strategies are not the correct ones for these specific charts and audiences.
저희가 또 이번에 처음으로 이렇게 빌보드 메인 차트에 진입한 만큼 다음 앨범도 또 이제 메인 차트에 들고 싶고 핫백, 핫 100 그것도 들고 싶고
또 저는 좀 현실적인 목표를 솔직하게 좀 말씀드리고 싶은데요.
Yo, the shade to put in bold, realistic. I love this girl. I really wish one day I get to meet Shorty, just so I could just be like, yo, your sass is just, it's admirable. It's admirable. I want to confess a realistic goal. Fuck. Why is she shading my nigga?
네.
처음으로 금요일에 이렇게 앨범을 발매하게 되었어요. 그래서 또 미주 쪽도 이렇게 더 많은 분들이 봐주셨으면 하는 것도 있고, 그리고 또 전 세계적으로 무대를 보여드릴 기회가 많아져서 이번에는 진짜 빌보드 메인 차트에 꼭 한번 이렇게 순위에 올라가 보고 싶어요.
정확한 어떤 목표 수치가 있으면 어떨까요?
1위 하고 싶습니다. 알겠습니다. 리액션 한번 가도록.
자, 1위에 올랐습니다.
그 제목, 기사 제목을 빌보드 메인 차트 1위까지 써주시고 내용에 오르고 싶다라고 적어주시면 제가 지금 작년에 그 앨범부터 계속 빌보드를 두드리고 있는데요.
네.
이번에는 그냥 시원하게 1위 그냥 하고 싶다고.
I think this is the problem. Is when BTS was doing BTS, them niggas just wanted to make a good song. And then that good song, we want to continue to have a consistent output of quality. And that consistent output of quality gets us to our next album, gets us to our next show. Wanting to have consistency and quality and earnestness in the music, I believe was like their only goal. Did they want like Billboard and all this other shit? Sure. But like, I don't get to chase those dreams if I'm not consistent in the steps up into them. And the journey and the goal was never top Billboard. The journey and the goal was, I'm trying to survive with these 7 niggas. And if we can survive, we fucking won. Because I'm not out here flipping burgers at McDonald's. And no disrespect to anybody that works any type of like fast food service job or any service job or anything like that. It's just more so, if you want to make music, that's all you want to do. And that's what I would like to survive doing, is making music. And that's where I feel like they figured that out. And that's all they focused on. But when you do these type of interviews and you say these type of things, you fell very short because you stop forgetting about the music and you start thinking about like chart manufacturing and like how to bubble up a fucking like fuck, what is that? What is the word? My words are hard right now. You're trying to draw attention to your single or whatever, and you begin to think of the marketing schemes. That's it. Instead of like, bro, you sound like ass cheeks on this part of the song. We need to redo this. This song just doesn't sound good. Like, there's better we could do. And I think that's where these groups keep messing up, or anybody trying to come from anywhere in the world. Doesn't matter. Even in America, when you start thinking about the chart instead of the music, you start fucking it. Period. You start thinking about you want a Grammy, you're fucking it. Like, just go make some shit you could believe and die behind. Because if you do that, even if you don't get what you're wanting, you won't be hurt. Because I promise you, the amount of times that I was like writing songs for artists or like trying to work with people like, yo, I got this artist right now I'm working with. If I can get this next one off, then like I'm gonna get this, this, and this. And then it didn't happen. I'd be like, no, I'm like cantankerous and just upset versus I don't give a fuck. And the amount of people that I've gotten to work with in this country alone, just from, I love music, man. Like, that's it. Like, if you be happy to willing to work with me, then that's great. And then people work with me for fucking free. Like, I'm literally doing a show with people tomorrow that were up for a Mercury Prize. What in the actual fuck? Nobody even knows who I am. But I have that on my CV from just, I love a thing and I go do a thing and I do it to the best of my abilities. And doing that has gotten me so much further than any of the other bullshit.
네, 말씀드리고 싶습니다.
자, 세븐틴 빌보드 1위입니다.
1위를 이렇게 거두게 되어서 정말 너무나도 감사드립니다. 이게 좀 진정성이 안 느껴지나요? 이게 정말 되고 싶긴 하거든요. 이게 진짜 되고 싶은데.
Having an album enter the Billboard 200 chart is a nice achievement. But having an album chart at number 15 or 2, while none of the songs of these albums appear on the Hot 100 or even the bubbling under Hot 100, tells me that K-pop fans and K-pop fans only are buying these albums in masses, while HYBE is unable to target American audiences correctly and transform them into organic listeners. The streams of a number 2 Billboard 200 album do not look like this. These constant and loose talks of the Billboard charts make me wonder if there were predictions and promises by high producers of a bigger success than what these groups ended up achieving, just like what we saw in that one clip. In interviews, we can see that Ban Shi-hyuk's goal is not to stay in the K-pop industry, because the K-pop industry's massive numbers have been too dependent on BTS's massive numbers. HYBE notices this more than anyone. If BTS releases something, the K-pop industry grows. If BTS goes on hiatus, the K-pop industry declines. Ban Shi-hyuk has the hope that this massive decline is not just because of BTS's military enlistment. Maybe it's just a global trend that is dying down, and BTS's military enlistment
No, it's the culture within the K-pop media sphere. Like, because the pageantry and the like big nature of like all the shit that happens in K-pop, like people grow up and grow out of these trends. And because you don't just make quality music, you make music that is like X theme with like X fucking like aesthetic that only lasts for so long, because somebody's going to grow up, somebody's going to have life choices, people aren't going to be the same people that fell in love with that thing. So you get like a 4 to 7 year window before you get another dip, and then every 4 to 7 years you're going to get another dip. But the people that have longevity, they make shit that I don't give a fuck what year I'm in my life. Like, I'm an older man, I'm listening to some niggas where I said I was going to skip their fucking schoolboy era shit and ended up loving tunes from that era. Why? Because it was just good music. There's nothing you could do. Like, if it's a banging song, you just gonna support a banging song. That's just how that works. So that's why I'm like, the K-pop industry needs to have a removal of the plastic nature, or just a tone down of it, and a real like look at itself. Because if they don't do that, like, yeah, if you don't get your next BTS, that shit's gonna turn into like a niche, like it was cute to listen to type shit, and then only the artists that people really love are gonna be the ones that kind of like flourish further.
And simply coincided with that decline.
팝은 사실 그 핫함에 비해서는 시장 점유율이 그렇게 높지가 않습니다. 현실적으로 글로벌로 봤을 때 생각보다 아주 높은 점유율을 갖지 않고 있고요.
Do you worry that it's just going to fizzle out?
그게 지금 제가 제일 우려하는 겁니다. 실질적으로 저희 수출 지표라든지 스트리밍 성장률을 보고 있으면 사실 성장률에서의 둔화라는 거는 좀 되게 명확히 보입니다. 이게 BTS의 군입대로 인한 일시적 현상이면 다행인데, 저는 사실 일시적 현상인가에 대한 우려가 있고요. 이거보다는 더 확실하게 글로벌 마켓에서 인지가 올라가야 되고.
Whatever the reason, the current decline of K-pop made Ban Si-hyuk focus a lot more on global mainstream audiences than K-pop audiences. But just because he is focused doesn't mean that he is expertly transcending the K-pop industry. Just because BTS gave HYBE the American industry experience, it doesn't mean that these producers are suddenly experts. As we can see, they have an idea, but they are nowhere close to being masterminds. Big comments, predictions, and attempts like this lead me to believe that although this group of people may have good songwriters and producers, their lack of understanding of the industry tells me that they are not really the masterminds they are portrayed to be. Don't get me wrong, HYBE's new groups can be considered really
not the masterminds they seem to be portrayed as. These are just like, she's dressing niggas down, but she's not even saying anything crazy. But just like, fuck, she is not playing.
The masterminds they are portrayed to be. Don't get me wrong, HYBE's new groups can be considered acceptable or good projects. HYBE has some of the most recognizable names for Korean and international K-pop fans. But HYBE's previous groups were also acceptable or good projects in theory. Some were very good artistically. The difference is that now, the failure of a song does not equal disbandment. The failure of a project does not equal the bankruptcy of the company. The money and fame BTS gives to HYBE allows their other groups to be big names from day one and move on after any failed attempt. Maybe their next project works out better, and it's like nothing happened. But their moderate success is because of the opportunity they have of trial and error, not because they are the creation of amazing masterminds. So again, what made BTS different? Why were they the ones to become the biggest group in the world? An achievement that no mastermind creation before or after BTS could even come close to.
We're truly honored to be on this stage with such amazing, tremendous artists right over here.
So let's go back to the creation of BTS. Since he was 14 years old, RM shared his unofficial songs and compositions on online platforms. In 2009, RM got the attention of the rapper Sleepy at an underground hip-hop crew's audition. Sleepy mentioned RM's music to big hit producer P-Dog. P-Dog then showed RM's demo tape to Ban Si-hyuk and told him this is what the young kids are into. Ban Si-hyuk signed RM immediately and formed Bangtan with RM as the first member. A lot of trainees joined RM in different lineups for the group, then abbreviated as BPB. One of the old lineups we know because they released music together was composed of RM, Iron, and Supreme Boy. But it ended up not working out. However, Big Kid kept RM as the first member. This is how Big Kid started finding people who could fit in an idol hip-hop group with RM. Do you see the trend here? Big Kid casually finds a young artist who is talented and makes good music. Then they create a group with his sound in mind because that's what young people are into. Then they try finding rappers and singers who can perform the music he made in that one demo tape. RM's vision of the group can be perform the music he made in that.
That's kind of dope. I didn't know they had to do like, nigga, you need to rap on my thing. If you sound good on my shit, we might chat. But if not, get the fuck. That's what's up. That's cool. That's cool.
One demo tape. RM's vision of the group convinced not only Big Kid, but it also convinced the right people to stay in the group. The first lineup with Iron and Supreme Boy was perfect in theory. They sounded very good together, but they were not fully convinced of the idea of BTS. The ones who were convinced stayed in the group. RM convinced the right trainees to stay in that broke label and fight for their debut, instead of leaving for better opportunities. Like Jungkook, for example, who had opportunities to join the biggest K-pop labels. Suga even changed the trajectory of his musical career, deciding to become a member of BTS instead of staying a producer behind the spotlight. Suga was so determined that he took part-time jobs to make BTS's debut become a reality.
편의점 알바 해보고 배달 알바 해보고 미디 레슨 작곡 레슨. 제가 알바를 했을 때 20살 때 알바를 했을 때는 저희 팀이 약간 좀 와해되기 직전이었어요. 회사에서 더 이상 투자를 할 돈도 거의 없고 약간 굉장히 안 좋은 상황에서 데뷔를 할 수 있을지 말지 굉장히 고민을 하고 있던 시기였어가지고 뭐라도 좀 해야겠다라는 생각에.
So yes, the Big Hit producers looked everywhere for trainees. They found the members and made them practice. But who started and finished the preparation of the project? Whose demo tape became the starting point? Who was signed immediately, almost in desperation of losing him? Whose idea scared the wrong trainees away, and who convinced the right trainees to stay? If the Big Hit producers were not lucky enough to find RM first, would they still be considered the masterminds they are today? In an interview for Time magazine, Ban Shi-hyuk mentions 4 things that led to BTS's global fame. Lack in timing, his more liberal training system, the production of songs with messages that resonate with youth around the world, and the connection between the BTS members and fans. With the exception of timing and luck, these factors can be all traced back to one person. If RM's songs were introduced to Big Hit as what the young kids are into now, it's not surprising that Big Hit allowed BTS to have songs with messages that resonate with the youth. If RM was introduced as a good rapper and songwriter with a good sense of what works, it's not surprising that Big Hit gave BTS a more liberal training system. If RM started by sharing his music on online platforms, it's not surprising that Big Hit encouraged BTS to follow RM's steps and share unofficial songs on online platforms and communicate on social media. Who made or inspired Big Hit to follow these characteristics? Who is the real mastermind here? By recognizing RM as the bigger contributor, I'm not trying to erase Big Hit's input. Without them, RM's idea of BTS wouldn't even come to fruition, especially when we know that other labels are so desperate for control and power over their artists. What kind of label lets a 16-year-old lead a group? But I believe that is Big Hit's most important input. They have faith on their artists. The BTS members were not all the perfect candidates to be idols in the K-pop industry. Some were actually rejected by other labels. The BTS members were not already wealthy people with parents who could invest in their children's dreams. To the contrary, the members' livelihoods were on the line here. But Big Hit seemed to prioritize raw talent and kind-hearted people over money and the stereotypical K-pop image. That is an amazing attitude. But the one real mastermind choice Big Hit took was signing RM immediately and let him guide the group. Because without RM, the choices are made by Big Hit exclusively. And to this day, they are still trying to figure out what works and what doesn't in the industry. The real choices of Big Hit include working with big names just because, misunderstanding audiences, going back to training artists to perfection, not even attempting to find young songwriters anymore, forgetting that there's beauty in the imperfect candidates. And taking risky decisions and making mistakes is fine, but the label of mastermind is too big. My point is that a good songwriter or producer or choreographer does not always equal a good creator. It does not equal a mastermind.
It never means mastermind. Like, you get that title because that motherfucker won. But, like, no. Like, having a great artist will be better than having fucking money every time. Like, having a person that people want to listen to their music will always be the win.
Of course, it's too big. My point is that a good songwriter or producer or choreographer does not always equal a good creator. It does not equal a mastermind. Of course, the irrelevant label Big Hit can now dress themselves as the international mastermind company HYBE. But without RM's mind, you get BTS's previous and subsequent groups. Good in theory, nice music, talented people, hardworking people, but no real mastermind, no biggest group in the world.
I feel like me and her saying the same kind of thing, but I do see her point is a little bit different than mine, and I would have to agree to her point without RM. And I didn't actually know the line and how important that he is in all of it until she kind of like really dials in this video about that. But yeah, without RM, you don't have the thing, and without that, do we get anything else? And I would have to say no, because like if RM's not there, who wants to stay the fuck around? I don't know, and I don't think anybody does. But like having RM and then RM finding the next boy and then the next boy and then people come in, it's like, oh, I like them 2 niggas, I'll stay around. And it's like the 4th guy comes, it's like, I like them 3 niggas, and then it just keeps like going on and on and on down the line. Shout out to Bora for this one. This was a fun one, actually. This was quite eye-opening, but I just love the shade. She's so fucking classic throwing shade while not being disrespectful. It's so good. I'm just loud and brash and just say what the fuck I have to. She's just very calm and just like, yo, it's too much. Mastermind, I just think it's just this guy. Like, what about the facts? And the facts are these. She's good at this. She's good at this. All right, yeah, that's it for me. I gotta actually, people are messaging me because I've sound checked in 45 minutes and I'm not gonna make it because I'm doing 2 more videos and then I'm getting out of here. But yeah, I gotta go. Thank you guys for joining me. If you can, please stop by the community tab on the page. Please pre-save the song. Please listen to it when it comes out on October 9th. I really need some help on this one from you guys. I'm out of here. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.